Maybe. Yes, sir! Right at it. Right at it! Oh! He's done it again! Just as he did at the John Deere for his first win. Is it his time?
The tap in for Tiger. We thought we'd never see it.
What is up to all my podcast listeners? Welcome back to another TMD Golf podcast. And on today's episode, we have a banger of a podcast for you guys because it's the first interview in podcast history. So today we're going to be interviewing a good friend of mine. He recently just co-founded, I believe, a golf company called Golf Sub 70. They make drivers, they make irons, they make every type of club. He's a great golfer, and he's just an awesome guy to talk to. So we're going to pick his brain today and enjoy. So, guys, we got the one and only Jay Armour here. Are you the co-founder of Golf Sub 70?
I am. So I am a partner in the company. Creator or the guy with the master vision, his name is Jason Highland. He's been a friend of mine for probably 10 years now. And we knew each other. We worked on some other things. He has been in the business, the golf equipment business, for I think about 25 years now. And this was something we talked about probably 3 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago, the whole sub 70 idea.
Okay.
At the time, the concept was something that we understood, as far as we felt like there was an opportunity to create high-end quality golf equipment and maybe get it directly to the golfer at a much more affordable price than what some of the major, OEM golf companies can do.
So, guys, if you did not know, Golf Sub 70 is a golf startup, would you say? And they make top-of-the-line, handcrafted clubs for half the price of your normal companies, right?
Yeah, we're definitely, right at this point, we're a boutique or a sort of craft startup type operation. The whole idea is that, a lot of the bigger companies, they have, and this is no fault of their own, and we think that there's, no shortage of great golf equipment out there, and we admire what all of those other companies do.
Yeah.
But a lot of them have, a lot of marketing and advertising expenses. They pay guys on tour to play their clubs. They have huge administrative costs because they have, thousands of employees. They send their clubs to retailers, and those retailers have to make some money so that the price of the clubs goes up. And we just kind of thought that, working as a small company, and it kind of works to our advantage that we're a small company and a startup, is that we can work directly with the golfer that's buying the clubs. And not only can we get them, a better fit and have a better sort of customer relationship with them, but like you said, we can also sell the equipment to them at a very, very heavy discount, which, like you said, typically is about half the cost.
Some of the other companies are just, the prices have really raised with the new models coming out. They're upwards of like $550 for a new driver and stuff like that, $2,000 for a set of irons. And you guys are cutting that, like a set of irons for you guys is below $500, right?
Yeah, so we have a couple different lines of irons that are out right now. And then we do have, we have a game improvement iron, and then we have a sort of a tweener club, which is a hollow body with the, gel injected behind the face.
So the 699 iron is what?
Yep, that's the 699, yep. And then we have the 639 CB, which is like a cavity back, a little bit more of a player iron.
Yeah.
And then very, very soon we will have a sort of a more of a bladey muscle back type iron.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the 699s, I think you can get those, pretty close to starting at around $450 if I'm kind of going off without looking at it. But and then the cavity backs, like you said, I mean you can get a 7-piece set for $500, $550, which the way that prices have been going in the equipment industry,
it's unbelievable. They're just rising every time. And it's absolutely crazy just to see how high these prices are going. And you guys also sell a kind of a combo set hybrid game improvement 739 iron set, right?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, so that's one of the nice things is when we came up with the idea a couple of years ago, we wanted to be able to offer a wide variety of products, and we wanted to be able to work with all sorts of golfers and be able to create equipment for anyone from a +5 to a 25.
Yeah.
And we've been able to do that. And like you said, one of the things we've done is there's game improvement irons. We do have hybrids, a wide array of hybrids. The cavity back irons will also blend seamlessly with the muscle back, so you can get, a 4 or 5 sticks in the cavity and fill out the rest with the muscle backs if you want to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've definitely set it up that way.
And those, how low do the irons go in the 699? So do you have like a 3-iron or something like that could be like doubled as a driving iron kind of?
So the 699s right now, I think they go down to a 4-iron.
Okay.
But what we have in the works, and there's already been a mold that's been made over at the forgery.
Okay.
Is we are using that model of iron to create a driving iron. So I believe what we'll have once those come in, and we do expect those to come in the spring, so we should have those by March or April.
Yeah.
There will be a 2-iron and a 3-iron in that 699 model, which they'll be very similar. You might have a little bit wider of a sole because it's driving iron, but the technology is perfect for that kind of a club. So, a guy that wants to be able to hit, a 2 or a 3-iron, but have a lot of forgiveness and still get good ball speeds off of, maybe heel or toe contact. It should be very, very good for that kind of a club.
So guys, Golf Sub 70 is a startup company. Like I said, they are totally handcrafted, and you can go be fit by them in Sycamore, Illinois. So that's where they're based out of, so northern Illinois area. And you can be fit by Jay, you, and your partner Jason, correct?
Yeah, so Jason handles all of our fittings, actually.
Okay.
He's the owner of the company.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's been in the business for a long, long time, and I don't even, try to pretend that I'm a very knowledgeable swing or club fitting sort of a guy.
Yeah, because I feel like some of the bigger companies just like hire some guys to get in there, do the work, and it's not like, especially kind of like the PJ Superstore, they don't really go through a quality fitting like you guys would at your place. Yeah,
exactly, and it's amazing that because of the way we have it set up, that you interact directly with the owner of the company. So, I mean, Jason has been working on these clubs from day one, and we've gone through so much testing and all these different prototypes and getting feedback from all sorts of different players. And, when you're getting fit, I mean, you're talking to a guy who knows every little intricacy about our equipment, and he's also familiar with other companies and their equipment, of course.
Yeah.
But he is also very good with golf swing and technique, and he can make a very good judgment just based on watching a guy hit 5 or 10 balls. And it's more thorough than that, of course. He'll make sure you test different shafts and different, combinations of irons and hybrids and things like that.
Yeah.
But it's a really great experience, and for anyone that's in the area, if you can make it out to Sycamore, I would definitely recommend that. We do have, a sort of a basic online fitting tool.
Yeah.
It would be like anything else, it takes some basic measurements, your height, your wrist to floor, how far you hit a 7-iron, some very basic things. But definitely either if you can make it to Sycamore and get a fitting, I would highly recommend doing that. Otherwise, what we can also do is, if you have a local fitter or you've been fit previously, if you have that information and can send it to us, we can take a look at it and kind of figure out where to go from there. So both options are there, but very, very highly recommend getting out to Sycamore if at all possible.
That's awesome. And you guys also make putters. The Sycamore 001 blade and the Sycamore 002 mid mallet. Is a full mallet on the way?
There is a full mallet. Yeah, there's an 03 model that's up there. It's definitely a full-sized mallet.
Higher MOI, more forgiving across the face.
Yep, exactly. Moves the weight back a little bit, and definitely, it's good for certain types of people, right? It's there's always the blade mallet kind of division line.
Yeah.
I've floated between both.
Yeah.
And at this point, with the putters, and we did, name it the Sycamore line. We may come out with more models of putters in the future, and we'll probably use other names of towns that we have ties to.
That's pretty awesome. That's a creative name. It just sounds cool.
Yeah, so we like it. We use some sycamore leaves and kind of tie it in that way. So it's something that I think the local community in the northern Illinois area where we're both located can kind of appreciate that because that's where we're from, that's where we're located, and we do want to pay some respect to our community and for their support as we get started.
And I think if you're from around this area, you can really connect to that name on that putter because that's where you're from.
Yeah, it's kind of a point of pride, right?
Yeah,
definitely.
If
you're in Florida playing or you're somewhere else and somebody takes a look at it, you can kind of tell them why it's called the Sycamore and go from there.
So you guys obviously handcraft all your clubs. Can you just talk a little bit about your crafter who makes the clubs and what are the benefits to handcrafting them opposed to a machine crafting clubs like the bigger companies do?
Yeah, so I'm definitely, Jason certainly is the expert as far as the design and the manufacturing process goes, but for sure. So what we've done is, like I said previously, we went through a lot of testing. I would say maybe a year and a half, almost 2 years of testing different types of materials.
Multiple prototypes, stuff like that.
Yeah, head shapes, move a little weight from here to here. And sometimes you're talking millimeters, of take this and put this here or slide it this way. And you're all, everything has a little bit of a result, and you have to kind of figure out what works the best for what you're trying to accomplish. But all of the equipment is forged and manufactured over in Asia. So that's the same as almost every other golf company you could possibly ever think of.
Yeah. In Japan, the forgeries are really good over there. Exactly.
Yeah. I don't think there's a single major club manufacturer that's producing equipment in the United States at this point, just because the Asian markets, they've really specialized in it. And they've created, high-end equipment for so long.
Yeah.
And just the cost too. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it, but every single order that gets placed and every individual club that gets built, for sub 70 is built by Jeff Bushnell.
Okay.
So Jeff he works out at our Sycamore facility. He works full time, and he's basically our master club builder. And the nice thing about it is, let's say you do go get a fitting out in Sycamore, so you work with Jason and he gets you fit and he says, this is what I think you should, what I recommend and what will work best for you.
Yeah.
Well, he takes all that information and gives it directly to Jeff, and Jeff is the one who then builds these clubs.
Yeah.
If Jeff has any questions, his workshop is a 10-second walk from Jason's office.
That's nuts.
Yeah, so Jason, Jeff, the whole team too, and we do have a full sales team and in a shipping department and inventory management and all that sort of stuff.
Just to interrupt you for a second, how many employees do you have working over there?
I believe there's about 25 guys working right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it does, there's a sales staff. There's a shipping sort of department. There's guys that are handling inventory and warehouse operation. So there's, we have our own accountant and things like that. So there's a lot of different people involved.
Yeah, a lot of factors. It's like it's a business. There's so many different factors that goes into it.
Yeah, it's a 25,000 square foot space. So we do have, like, obviously for the fittings, we have a hitting bay, studio. There's actually a bar area with a ping pong table and some dart boards and things like that, just for guys to hang out.
Seems like an awesome place to work.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's fun. Every day is something different, and the most important thing is that I think everybody there really does love golfing and really enjoys the game and enjoys working with other golfers.
Yeah, and that's got to be real good for golf companies, that everyone knows the game, everyone plays the game, and they just all have a real passion for it. So you got to work for what you love, and that's if that's what your employees love, they're gonna love coming to work and gonna love.
Yeah, and Jeff Bushnell, who's the club builder, is a former PGA pro at a club, and he used to play professionally in a lot of competitive tournaments. I mean, he's a very, very good player. Jason, our owner, is also a very good player. So you're talking, low single digit players. And it's nice to have those kind of people involved in the process, just because they've seen a lot of things. They've worked on all sorts of different projects in the game, and they just have a ton of knowledge.
You're not too shabby yourself, right?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. I try to get out there. I'm certainly, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I play quite a bit of golf.
Handicap?
I think at the end of last season, I was right around a 2. So.
Oh, that's damn good.
I tell everybody it's more of a product of me playing as much golf as I do, as opposed to me having some kind of crazy skill. I think if I stopped playing for a couple months, I'd go from a 2 to a 15 in a hurry.
Yeah, that's why it's tough trying to make it through the winter, especially a long one like we're having in Illinois in the Chicagoland areas, just because the snow is not melting and it's just cold.
It is terrible.
Yeah,
it's rough. I try to get some swings in and at least, maybe go putt or do something inside. But the winters are long and, pretty harsh around here.
Especially this year, it's been real tough.
Yeah, it's not been kind, especially for those of us that like to golf.
Yeah, exactly. So I just want to. This is the last question regarding Golf Sub 70, but what are the future goals for this company?
Yeah, so we're just getting started, which is cool, and I know you've known about it since, before we officially launched. Yeah. And so we officially launched in December of 2018. So I guess sort of 2 full months maybe at this point we've been up and running.
Okay.
I think, our immediate goals for the rest of this year are to get, all of our product lines lined up, which everything is available now except for those blade irons, which they are coming in soon. I think it's either today or tomorrow.
Those look really good, by the way. Those look with kind of the pattern engraving on the back. Those look sick. Yeah,
so if anybody, if you want to take a look, I can just say it, but they're a lot of the irons have sort of CNC milling on the backs of them to give them kind of a unique look, which is nice. They do look very sharp, and we have some other ideas for products, but since we're a smaller shop, and part of our, I guess, mindset on everything is, we're not going to come out with new drivers every year or new sets of irons that are just the same as the set that came out the year before.
Yeah.
So
that's exactly like, especially one that comes to mind is like TaylorMade. They come out with so many drivers. They'll come out with just 2 drivers every year, multiple set of irons throughout the year. It's not just at the beginning of the year. They're coming out with like irons through the year, and just my personal like feeling on that is like it's just a little bit too much. I don't know. I feel like I made a podcast earlier this year or a few episodes ago, and I was saying like I could probably go out and shoot like probably around the same score with a driver that's 5 years old, as long as it's not worn out. I just feel like there's not that much of a difference.
No, and it's something where we want the people that buy our clubs and the people that support sub 70. We want them to feel like what they're purchasing has value and is going to be a quality product, for however long they want to play it.
Yeah.
We don't want someone to buy a set of irons and then 6 months later say, oh, well, here's a new set of irons that's better than that set of irons.
Yeah.
I can, as a consumer, you don't want to buy something and then 6 months later feel like, well, now there's a better version of that out there. Why did I even buy this? I should have just waited until this one came out.
Yeah, and you guys just introduced like a 60-day test with the clubs, right? Can't you pay like $20 to get them shipped out to you? You test the clubs for for a little bit and see if you like them, and then ship them back, and you can buy your own set. Correct?
Yeah, exactly. So they're actually, those are two separate things. So
okay.
All of our purchases have a 60-day guarantee. So if you purchase a set of irons from us and you play those irons for 59 days and you decide, I don't like them, and we don't think that's going to happen, but on the 59th day you say, I don't really like these, I'd like to send them back, no problem. We have a 60-day guarantee. You can send the clubs back for any reason and we'll refund you your money. Now, hopefully we can figure out what the issue is. Maybe it's a shaft issue. Maybe the fit wasn't quite right, and we can get that adjusted. But we're going to work with the person on it, and if they decide that they want a refund after, trying them out, no problem. The demo program is, that's brand new. We just launched that, I believe, last week.
Okay.
The demo program is awesome. So our business model is factory direct, which means you're not going to be able to go to a PGA store or a Golf Galaxy or Golfsmith or whatever retailers are out there these days and find sub 70 clubs.
It's going to be online or in your
correct.
shop.
Yep, online, or if you come out to Sycamore, which obviously not everybody can do, but we sell directly to the consumer. One of the issues that we have, and obviously we've known this all along, is we can't get our clubs in front of people as easily as these other companies because, you can go to a PGA store and you can hit pretty much any iron or the driver that's out there.
Yeah.
So what we did was we created this demo program where you can test clubs for 10 days is the window that we're using right now, is 10 days from the day that you receive it. So if you get the clubs on, a Monday, you have 10 days from that day until you need to send them back.
Yeah.
And what we do is you pay, essentially it costs the person $20, and we ship the clubs to the person, whatever clubs they want, and we do have, different irons and different shafts and different combinations of, we can try to get to something that's a pretty close fit. It's not going to be perfect because we can't individually build every
demo
club.
Yeah,
it's a demo club, right? It'll give you a good idea, though.
Yeah.
And what you do is we ship the clubs out to you. You receive them. You can use them for up to 10 days. And then there's a prepaid return label. You just stick the clubs right back in the same box that we shipped to you and send them back to us, and you're good to go. So that's been, pretty popular over the last 10 days or so. We've had, quite a few demo requests come in, which, like I said, for someone that, doesn't live in our area, for them to be able to at least look at and touch and, actually go hit the clubs, it's a very important program for us, and we think it'll make a big difference for people that are interested.
That's something you can't do with another company. No, like, giant company's going to send clubs out for however long, 10 days, and let you test them.
No, it's, you're exactly right. I mean, for them, they have too many other things going on, and, you basically just have to buy the club and hope that you like it.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
if you can't go test it somewhere. And the nice thing too is, you know, a lot of times you could go test a club, and then you order a club, but you know you're not getting the exact same one that you tested, right? You know, there might be some slight variations. I mean, there are manufacturing tolerances, and you know, even the shafts can be slightly different. So there's some different things, but if we send you a demo club, you could have the option of just purchasing that club. You know, you can just tell us, hey, I love this thing. I just want to keep it, and we'll figure out how to, you know, get that process taken care of for you. So if we send you a demo club and you hit it and you say, this is the one I want, cool. We'll make sure that that's the one you got.
That's awesome. So, guys, you can go check out Golf Sub 70, this awesome new golf manufacturer, on golfsub70.com. They have an Instagram account. Go check them out. They also have a podcast, which is pretty cool, where they interview some pretty big players' names out there. And you've done some of those interviews, right, Jason? Or Jay?
Yeah,
My bad.
Yeah. No, it's very confusing with our names over at the company. Trust me, we meet people all the time, and they're not quite sure which one of us is Jay and which one's Jason.
Yeah, because I follow Jason on Twitter and Instagram also. So.
It's ironic, but yeah, we're both, I guess, in theory, Jays and both Jasons. But yeah, so yeah, you can check us out on any social media platform. Our account is at GolfSub70. We do have a podcast. I think we've done about 60 episodes to date. And yeah, I've done a couple of them. Jason handles a lot of them. We've had all sorts of players on. I mean, we've had the Metro Tour players, which are basically the web.com version for the LPGA. We've had web.com players. We've had PGA Tour players. We've had Champions Tour players. We've had Ryder Cup captains.
That's
Ryder
awesome.
Cup players. Yeah, I mean, it's really crazy how you know, the response and kind of the connections we've been able to make, and we feel, you know, very appreciative of, you know, being able to have those conversations, because I think at the end of the day, you know, Jason and I both just really love golf, and just to be able to talk to some of those people, you know, is very cool for us. So we hope that other people, you know, have a chance to take a listen to those conversations.
Yeah, and that's kind of the goal for this podcast and my YouTube channel. It's just kind of want to get big, but it takes a long time to do that. And
it's not easy. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, there's a lot of content out there, and you know, a lot of people are doing very cool things in the game of golf these days, in the media, and you know, with equipment. You know, and that's another thing too. I guess I would just point out real quick is, if people are, you know, willing to take a look, there are a plenty of great companies that are smaller, whether they're making golf balls like Vice or Snell or Cut or Encore. They use a similar factory direct model. There are also other equipment companies that, you know, maybe they just do wedges, or, you know, maybe they do head covers or golf bags, or, you know, all sorts of like cool, creative, you know, companies that are smaller and are just trying to get a start. And a lot of them can create incredible products. And if you give them a chance, you know, they can kind of show you that, you know, maybe working directly with some of these companies is worthwhile, and you'll kind of get I think as a consumer, you kind of feel more satisfied making purchases.
Yeah, and a more
you know,
personal connection.
Yeah, you know, you feel like part of it, and that's, you know, something we really want to make happen with Sub 70 is we want people that play the clubs to feel like they're part of our team, because we know that, you know, our business model, and, you know, it's not for everybody. You know, there's going to be guys that say, I'm going to play, you know, TaylorMade equipment, you know, and that's their prerogative, and we think TaylorMade makes some awesome stuff, and, you know, that's fine. But the guys that do give us a chance and do work with us, you know, first of all, the equipment's going to perform, and it has to. But we do think that it's, you know, maybe a little more fun and a little more enjoyable to kind of be part of something, you know, like like you're part of a movement of, just something different in the golf equipment world.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, moving on from Golf Sub 70, awesome company, by the way, but I kind of want to talk and ask you some questions about your personal game. So, if that's good with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so when did you first get into golf?
So I would say I remember playing the first time that I remember actually playing golf, I was probably, I don't know, maybe 10.
Okay.
I played in, like a summer league, and I lived in New York, and I remember there was one summer where we had a very, nice sort of youth program where my parents could drop me and my brother and a couple of our friends off at the golf course. And, we'd play 9, we'd play 18, we just hang out there until whenever we were getting picked up that day.
Yeah.
I played when I was young, but then I would say I didn't necessarily start taking the game very seriously probably until I was 25. After I moved to Illinois, I didn't play a whole lot, just a couple times a year with your buddies, nothing crazy. And, I wouldn't say I was bad. I was probably better than the average guy who played a couple times a year, but just didn't have the interest and didn't want to spend the money to do it either. I mean, I think that was another, kind of factor in my youth growing up, and I do wish I played more, like in high school and whatnot.
Golf is just expensive, though. It's just...
Yeah, and my dad's a very good player. He's always been a very good player. And so he always played, he was always playing when I was growing up, but I think even as, a high schooler, I knew that it cost money, and I knew that it was not, very cheap to do. I mean, for me to go to the range, a couple times a week or just to go play rounds, I mean, it would, cost money.
Yeah.
And I think I didn't, necessarily push it too much because I just was like, I'm not that interested in it. I'm not going to, spend a bunch of money trying to go play golf.
Yeah, and that's before all social media got in and it was really televised. Golf wasn't that much televised back then, right?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't, huge. I mean, I kind of grew up. By the time, I guess when I was in high school, Tiger Woods was really starting to ramp up.
Okay.
Which obviously brought a lot of attention to the game, and it became a lot more popular. But yeah, it definitely didn't have the social media sort of push and community that, and all these other content creators and YouTube and all this other stuff going on. I mean, that stuff didn't exist. So all you could do if you wanted to play golf or watch golf was either turn on the golf channel on TV or go to a golf course. I mean, you couldn't watch YouTube videos. You couldn't go on Instagram and watch, teachers and other videos. I mean, there was nothing like that. So definitely a different time.
Yeah, did you ever get into playing competitively at all, or?
No, I've played in some club championships and some other, club events, but haven't dabbled in the, any USGA or really CDGA events or anything like that. And I hope to do that, now that I'm taking the game a little bit more seriously. I do enjoy, the competitive rounds of golf that I play.
Yeah.
I do enjoy playing, 2-hour rounds of golf where I really am not grinding it out, where I just kind of
just
hit
fly
the shot
through.
And go.
You're out by yourself.
Yeah, and it's hard for me, I think, to some degree because I get very used to that.
Yeah.
And then if I do get put into a sort of tournament type round that's can be longer and a little bit more tedious because people are being a lot more concentrated and things like that. It kind of, it's not what I'm used to.
Yeah.
But I think it would be very good for me, and I hope to, kind of take some more steps, hopefully, to play in some more events that are a little bit more official.
And then when we're on talking about playing in competition and stuff, we've seen a lot of like the rules changes have been coming into play a ton. We saw it a lot at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. But what do you think of pun with the flag stick in and dropping from knee height? What are your thoughts on the new rules? It's kind of changing the game a lot.
Yeah. So those are definitely the two big ones. So the dropping thing, I just don't really understand what the problem was with the original way of dropping, which was just shoulder height, which there's really no argument about whether or not it was done properly. I think with the knee thing, you get this whole, okay, so somebody that's 5'2" is dropping from a better spot than somebody that's 6'5".
Yeah.
And the guy who's 6'5" needs to bend over to get down to his knee. So now is that, is he cheating by bending his knees to get his knees lower to the ground? But he can't. It seems like it's a whole can of worms that they didn't really need to open.
Yeah. Watching the Waste Management Phoenix Open, what a tournament that was on Sunday and I found it kind of confusing. I talked about this on a previous podcast, but it was just weird how Ricky got penalized for his ball after it was in play and at rest, and it going back into the water after he dropped it or placed it, therefore. And he got penalized for it rolling back as something he couldn't even control. But later in the tournament, on the 17th hole, I believe, it was right after Brandon Grace drove into the water off the tee on 17. He did an illegal drop. From what I saw, a lot of people were posting it on social media and stuff and Instagram. But he full on squatted, and it clearly showed in the rule books a picture of saying you cannot squat and drop the ball. It was kind of interesting, and it was just super controversial.
Yeah, and I know there was some video and some debate earlier in the year about, I think, Bryson DeChambeau when he was over in Saudi Arabia, I think it was.
Yeah.
Where or maybe it was Abu Dhabi, I believe. Where he took a drop. It was the same thing where he was kind of bending his knees, getting, only a foot away from the ground to drop the ball.
Yeah.
I think that the whole thing, that whole rule, the rules of golf are confusing and complicated enough.
Yeah.
I play more golf than probably 99.9% of people, and I'm not clear on half the rules sometimes.
Yeah.
So I think that anything that's causing more confusion and more sort of just misunderstanding of what exactly the rule is bad for the game.
Yeah.
I think that the average person that watches golf, like you said at the Waste Management, that was watching on that Sunday because Ricky Fowler was going to win, they're watching it and they're watching his ball to roll in the water and they're going, wait, why does he get penalized for that? He didn't do anything.
Not only that, they're watching because it's just like a party on the golf course. And I think more golf tournaments should be like that, too.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and I think there's something to be said for that as well. I mean, I think, these kind of rules that create that kind of confusion are the exact opposite of that sort of party, fun, golf is cool sort of environment.
Yeah.
And it's a little frustrating to see. It's not anything new. I mean, I think the rules of golf have been debated for a long time as far as whether they're good for the game. Some of them, some of them are just very confusing and they're very strange. But putting with the pins in, it looks weird. I don't mind it personally. Like, I probably will putt with the pin in just because I don't necessarily know if it's a benefit or not, but I don't care if it's in or if it's out, and if it saves me some time, then I'm probably
That's exactly how I am.
It.
I think my Golf Spy did a few tests on it, and they proved that putting with it in was better. So I think I don't mind it at all. It saves time, like you said, and I think that's something I'm gonna definitely do. And if it's out, like if I'm playing in a competitive round for like my high school or something, and some guy wants it out, I'm not gonna be the stickler who tells him to put it back in after he already.
Yeah, and that's my concern with the rule is, the idea, I believe, is to speed up pace of play.
Yeah.
But if you're playing in a foursome and two of the guys want it in and two of the guys want it out, and you're not a professional golfer, so you don't have a caddy that can basically tend the flag for you, while everybody's putting.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a lot of, walking back and forth. And I mean, I can only imagine if you're playing somewhere that has big greens and a lot of guys are having 30, 40, 50-foot putts.
Yeah.
I mean, who's walking back and forth to take the pin out and then put it back in and then take it back out and then put it back in? It just seems like, I understand that it should increase pace of play, and for somebody, like you or I, if we're out just playing, for fun, then sure, it does make it faster to putt with the pin in.
Yeah.
But I do worry that in a tournament type condition, it seems like it'll be a very annoying situation if half the guys want to putt with it in and half want to putt with it out. But
that's what I kind of think. It's just
Yeah.
I just feel like with the rules, the new rules especially, and this has kind of been like the rules for like all of golf has been around. But I feel like there's so many inconsistencies within the rules that like some rules officials are saying one thing, some are saying the other. But especially now when they're introducing new rules, it doesn't really seem like, I'm sure the players were like told and taught about them, but it just feels like all the players like still don't really know the rules 100%. So I think the PGA Tour or the European Tour, whoever it is, should have a kind of like sympathy for them, and just for the first like few months that these rules are in play, just don't penalize them too hard. Like, just let them get used to rules, then you start penalizing them for it later once you get the rules really set in stone, because there's so many just loose parts of the rules right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they already, have adjusted the rule with, your caddy can't be standing behind you as you address the ball.
Yeah, that was weird with Denny McCarthy.
Yeah, and I mean, they already had to change that ruling basically now where as long as you back off of your ball, you could address the ball and your caddy can stand behind you, but you just have to back off of it again before you hit the shot.
Yeah.
But that's a perfect example of, how many times and how many guys, were penalized for that, or how many should have been, but they weren't because, the rules official or whoever just didn't think it was, worth penalizing them for. It's, like you said, there's too many intricacies. There's too much interpretation going on. It needs to be black or white. You break the rule or you don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on kind of from the rules, I just also kind of want to talk about, because you went to Scotland on a golfing trip a few years back, because I remember us talking about that. Can you just describe that trip, who you went with, what courses you played, and stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think about it probably every day. I would love to go back, and I recommend if anyone ever has the opportunity to go, no matter how long of a trip it is, no matter what courses you get to play, just go, because it's unbelievable, and it will not, disappoint no matter what your expectations are. I went over with my dad and my two brothers, so it was a family affair, and we flew over. It was in May, and we spent about 8 or 9 days over there, and we spent 3 or 4 of those days in St. Andrews.
That's awesome.
So we played the new course and we played the old course at St. Andrews.
Yeah.
And then we played Carnoustie. And that was our first round. So that was interesting. And we also played Kings Barnes, which is in that sort of area.
Yeah.
So awesome time. It's unlike anything else you'll ever see. I mean, it's just so fun. The way I would say it is, when you come back, if you're ever getting kind of tired of playing the same old golf, or you just want to experience something different that kind of re-energizes you, I mean, playing golf in Scotland is just the funnest golf I think you could ever play. Edinburgh
Okay.
and played Gullen, Dunbar, and North Berwick.
Okay.
I think that's all. I think we played those 6 courses.
Yeah.
We played 36 at North Berwick, and then there was a day, the day that we played the new course, we also played the old course.
That's.
So I think we had 2 days where we played 36, and then the other days we just played 18.
I bet you guys were exhausted. Holy cow.
Yeah, it was a lot. We did it. It was pretty nice. We had a day off, sort of in the middle.
Okay.
So when we traveled from St. Andrews down to Edinburgh, we took that day off. So that was nice. But it's all walking. They don't have carts like every course here does. So you got to walk.
It's traditional golf. It's the home of golf.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They just don't have carts. I mean, the courses aren't built for it. And the nice thing is a lot of the courses, they're short. They're relatively short compared to, courses here. I mean, you're not playing anything that's 7,000 yards. It just doesn't
Yeah, I was
exist.
watching. Do you watch No Laying Up at all?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, they just had their their trip over to Scotland, I believe.
Yeah,
It was
the tourist
sauce.
sauce, yeah.
That was super
Yep.
entertaining because they played some of the courses you were mentioning you played, which was pretty cool. And you're going over like rock walls. You're going like, and there's drivable holes, drivable par 4s, gettable par 5s, and they're all pretty short, but they have their own characteristics to challenge each and every part of the game.
Yeah, it's definitely a different style of golf. Like you said, there are a lot of sort of little walls and all sorts of strange little things out there because these courses are hundreds of years old, and there used to be livestock roaming the areas, and it's very interesting. But yeah, I mean, a lot of it is the wind obviously is a huge factor in links golf.
Yeah.
And then of course a lot of the courses they get very dry, which that no laying up season is a perfect example. That was like one of the driest summers that Scotland had for a long time. So everything was very baked out, and it's interesting. I think the average person, if they saw some of those, some of the drone footage and whatnot from the no laying up videos, they would be like, ew, that looks like it's a terrible course.
Kind of looks like Chambers Bay back in the 2015 U.S. Open.
Yeah, I mean, it's just brown. I mean, it looks like, it's completely burnt out and just, whatever. But when you get out there and you start playing golf and you realize that, you can hit these little chipped runner shots that go 120 yards, and you can kind of do all sorts. You can use the contours of the ground to get your ball to come in certain directions. It just, it definitely opens your mind, I think, to the more creative side of getting around a golf course. Here in the United States, Parkland-style golf courses with trees between every fairway.
You're going right at
you know.
pins. You're just hitting your carry distance, trying to carry it all the way there.
Yeah, and it's all, like you said, you hit it high. Everything is, hit a driver off the tee and then hit just a full pitching wedge or whatever it is. Over there, I mean, I did it a lot, and some of the times I was too scared to even try it, but you'd have 110 yards, and you'd say, you'd ask a caddy or someone, you'd say, what would you hit from here? And they'd go, oh, I'd hit probably a 7-iron, and I would just bounce it about halfway up the hill, and it'll bounce up in the air, and then it should take this little slope, and I'm sitting there going, yeah, give me my sand wedge. I'm not going to try to hit a 7-iron 100 yards or whatever it is and try to control the distance, but it's a very different game for sure. They play it low, and we hit everything high, so it's definitely fun to see the difference.
So you said you played the old course. How was the road hole, number 17, hitting over that hotel? Yeah,
it was amazing. That round of golf it's fun. It's incredible. I mean, you're teeing off on the first hole, and there's people standing around. I mean, it's basically the first tee and the 18th green are right in the town, so there's people that are walking their dogs, and there's people parking their cars, and there's just, tourists watching people tee off and all that.
Now, if I could
It's really
interrupt
fun.
you 1 second, how did you guys get your tee time to play out there? Because I know there's super strict policies on how to get a tee time to play the old course.
Yeah, so we planned the trip quite a bit ahead of time, and I was able to just basically reserve a tee time as soon as they made them available for that week.
Okay.
I think it's like a full year in advance, maybe. So
Jeez.
you kind of I think they all have different little systems. I think what you do though is you tell them what week you're going to be there, and then they basically give you a tee time.
Okay.
Otherwise, like you said, there's a bunch of different ways you can just show up and do the ballot system.
Yeah.
Which is, they'll stick you with a twosome or a threesome. There is a lottery type thing that you can enter, beforehand and try to get picked. But we planned it far enough in advance that we were able just to kind of make a normal tee time reservation.
That's cool.
The road hole though. So there's some really funny, I guess, stories from that tee shot.
Yeah.
So you're kind of teeing off over the hotel. I hit a tee shot, and it had probably rained 6 or 7 times during that round.
Just your classic Scottish golf weather.
Yeah. I mean, it would rain for 15 minutes, and then it would go away, and then we would take our rain gear off, and then it would start raining again. I changed clothes, I probably changed clothes more times than I made par. I don't even know what happened, but it was constantly just taking clothes off, putting them back on. And we were waiting on that tee box for the group ahead of us, and it was pouring rain. I mean, we were all, the caddies and the 4 of us were all kind of like huddled under these trees. And by the time we went to tee off, it had stopped raining.
Okay.
And we get up there, and I hit a tee shot, and I kind of there's video of it out there. I didn't try to find it, but I hit a tee shot and I hit it good, and then I kind of look at my caddy and give him a shrug, like, "Is that good? I don't know." And he's like, "Oh, that's perfect. Like, you're perfect." I'm like, "Okay."
Okay.
My older brother gets up there and he hits one. He kind of hits it off the toe, like high on the toe.
Okay.
A real high shot, and it's going right over the hotel, kind of. And he turns and looks at his caddy, and his caddy tells him it's in the fish pond, which is basically him saying that it's in the fountain behind the hotel. And so he laughs and he re-tees and ends up hitting one out there. And my younger brother, who he doesn't play a ton of golf, but he can really, really hit the hell out of the ball when he hits it. He's a real strong kid, and he swings real fast. And he gets up there and tees it up and swings, at full speed with a driver and hits a line drive that probably never got more than 3 feet off the ground. It's going dead right,
Oh,
and it
jeez.
hits one of the posts that's holding up the net for the hotel. The ball hits the post, like, bing type noise, and the ball bounces back to us on the tee from, the post that he hit was probably 50 yards away.
Oh, my.
And this is all on video, and our entire group dies laughing.
Oh.
There's guys on the green behind us basically saw or heard it happen, so they're all dying laughing. My brother picked the ball back up, put it back on his tee, and hit it again. He was like, "Forget it, I'm re-teeing on this one."
That's awesome. And how was
it? Was fun.
How was it walking over the Swilken Bridge? Because that's probably the most iconic piece of infrastructure in all of golf.
Yeah, it's surreal. It's definitely, you're there and you're, finishing up this round of golf that you've been kind of trying to take everything in, and trying to, kind of appreciate what you're doing and where you are and who you're with, and at the same time you're trying to play good golf. You don't want to get like lost in the whole thing,
Yeah.
but it's hard to do. But yeah, I mean, the bridge is awesome. It's very cool. It's right there. When you're walking around town, you can see it from whenever you're near the course. It's nice. They take pictures of you, of your group, and all that, and
That's awesome.
it's definitely a cool thing. I have a picture of the four of us framed in my office from that bridge, and it's something I'm sure that I'll hold on to for forever. And I can't wait, and I hope that one day I can get back there, because it's definitely worth every effort that you have to get there.
The best players to ever play the game, you're taking the same
Yep.
walk, which I think is so cool about most of those Scottish courses is they stay public, and
Yeah.
anyone can go out there and play there. And Carnoustie, that's public, and
Yep.
it's awesome, because the British Open out there is just, you can play those courses that they
Yeah.
play at. So
It's amazing. It really is a very different. They have a very different mentality towards golf over in the United Kingdom than they do here.
yeah,
It's a lot more public. It's a lot more for the community. If you live in Carnoustie or if you live in St. Andrews, I believe when I talked to the caddy at Carnoustie, he said that if you live in the town, you can join the club. They have two courses there. You can join the club for, I believe it was $300 or $400 per year, and that's unlimited golf.
that's unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's same thing at St. Andrews. If
Yeah.
you live in St. Andrews, I think it's $500 a year, and they have I think 6 or 7 golf courses there that you can play.
Yeah,
I mean, the way that they, and a lot of it is because tourists come over there and they pay a lot of money to play the courses, so they allow the locals to play for a much lower rate.
which is really cool, because you can't even play, you can't even become a member at just a country club around here for even anywhere close to that price.
It makes me, it's kind of depressing to me
Yeah.
that golf in the United States is much more exclusionary. You got to be wealthy, you have to have connections, you have to be very proper and very it's just a very different environment than it is over in Scotland or Ireland or anywhere else, where it's a lot more about family and friends and the community, and just playing golf for fun and for exercise, and that sort of thing. And I think that they got it right, and unfortunately most of the stuff around here, if you want to play a nice golf course, you got to have a lot of money to be able to do it. So
Yeah, which is kind of the sad thing, because if they're trying to get younger players like myself into the game, or even younger than me, and they come from an average class family, it's definitely really challenging to get on a golf course and play and get into it. And if you like it a lot, and play a lot.
Yeah, and as well as I'm sure as anybody that even the great young up and coming players in this country, sure, there are plenty of good golfers that have come from middle class families or even lower class families as far as income goes, but there's also 12, 13, 14-year-olds out there who come from very wealthy families that have a TrackMan, and they have a country club membership, and they travel all summer and play at tournaments all over the country, and it is what it is. There's nothing you can do to stop that, but I certainly think it's a lot more enjoyable for me, and it's something I far prefer, is where there's just more. It doesn't need to cost $10,000 a year to belong to a country club. I don't think it should. But.
Yeah. Yeah, so just a couple more just personal questions before we end here. We're approaching the hour mark, but what's your best career round?
My best round on a playing from normal tees out, let's say. I shot a 3 under 69 playing from about 7,000 yards.
That's a good distance. That's longer than your average
Yeah.
men's tees.
Yeah, it was solid. I played around last year where I believe I ended up shooting like 6 under. I had 8 birdies in a round, and but I was playing from. I'm trying to remember back. It was a par 70 course, and I think we were only playing from like 6,100 yards or something.
Okay.
It was real short.
That's cool.
Yeah, we just decided to have some fun one day and kind of play some different tees because we had played the course quite a bit before, and thought it would be a little more interesting, maybe just to move up a tee box and just hit different shots. And honestly, I don't even think I even struck the ball all that well that day, but made a whole bunch of putts, and all of a sudden we get to the last hole, and I think I made like a 10-footer on the last hole for my 8th birdie of the round. So that was pretty cool.
It's one of those days where you just can't miss. When I shot my 1 under, it was in our home invite for our high school out at Carillon, and I shot 1 under 70, I believe, and I had like a 15-footer for birdie on the last. I unfortunately missed it, but it's just one of those days where you can't miss, and you're just hitting shot after shot how you want to hit it. You're having tap-in birds, you're sticking your wedges.
Yep.
Everything's just clicking.
Yeah, it's those days are they're not all that common, but when they come along, you certainly got to appreciate it because for every one of those days, there's a day where somehow the ball is never going where you want it to go, and you're missing your line on your putt, on putts as soon as you hit it, and all sorts of terrible things. But you definitely just, I guess, got to roll with the punches, which is, I guess, part of the reason we probably love golf, which is it's something different every day, and it's never going to be perfect. So.
Now, what's your best career shot?
My best shot. Let's see. I'm trying to think. The last time, and I don't. It's interesting. I don't have a hole in one.
Okay.
I've only holed out, from like a fairway a couple of times.
Yeah.
The last one was pretty nice because it was on the first hole, which is always a good way to start the round.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, that was over at Prairie Landing, and I holed out from about, I don't even know, I want to say 90, 95 yards, somewhere in that ballpark.
You spin it back?
Yeah, and that was the fun thing about it is you can kind of see the whole green from where I was, and the pin was kind of down in the front sort of area, so I kind of just knew if I threw it up on the backboard, it should come back down towards the hole.
Yeah.
So I think it hit probably 5 or 6 feet behind the hole, kind of did a one bouncer, and then just kind of came backwards right down. And my dad and I were playing together, so we were just kind of both standing in the fairway watching it happen. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, got to do a little bit of a cheer / roar, and there was 4 some guys on the tee waiting to tee off, so they all were saw it happen, kind of. And
that's cool.
Yeah, it was fun, definitely.
And then the final question: who do you got winning the Masters this year?
Ooh, the Masters. That's a good question, to be honest.
Because I know Tiger's the favorite right now.
Well, I don't think I'd go that far at this point. I'd love to see that happen. I think that would be incredible. I love Tiger. I think he definitely is the sort of the trigger for golf. I mean, he moves the needle more than anything else, and I think he's been through a lot. I don't think he's ever tried to really hide behind the stuff that's gone on.
Yeah.
I wish, I thought he would. I hope he wins a major this year. I think anything at this point would be amazing.
Yeah. I thought he had
For the Masters, man.
I thought he had the PGA Championship or the British last year. He had the lead at the British and was just charging.
He had it at Carnoustie, and just I don't know if it was a couple bad decisions. I know he tried to hit that one flop shot from the side of a green and put it into the bunker. And, I mean, he definitely. I will tell you this: that was probably the most fun I had watching golf last year. I mean, I can still remember, what was going on, and I mean, I love watching that tournament because it's kind of on early for us.
Yeah.
So it's very fun to be able to watch, and then you can maybe go play afterward because it ends so early.
Yeah, and you've experienced playing Carnoustie too.
Yeah, that was awesome too, right? Yeah, I had been there, and I still, had at least some memories of where I was on certain holes and that sort of thing. But back to the original question for the Masters, there are so many guys playing well. Let's see, I'm going to go with who's going to putt the best. That's my question. Let's go with Paul Casey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Played well this week.
There. Yeah, he played well last week. I think he's always played well at Augusta. Just hasn't, gotten it all together.
Yeah.
There's a million guys you could pick, which is the amazing thing about golf right now. I mean, there are no shortage of guys that could win it.
Yeah.
If I had to pick somebody else, I'd like to see like Tony Finau win it.
Yeah.
I mean, he finished top 10 last year with basically an ankle that looked like somebody had run it over with their car 5 times.
Yeah.
So, if he's healthy this year, I would imagine that he'll play pretty well.
Yeah.
But we'll go with Paul Casey. It's a little bit of a dark horse pick, but that sounds good to me.
Well, I like it. So, thanks, Jay, for coming on the podcast, and I can't thank you enough. It's been awesome talking to you.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. It was an awesome talk. If there's anything we can ever do to help, hopefully we can do, another one of these in the future. And, for anybody else that's interested, we went over it earlier, but check out the sub 70 stuff. And if you have any questions or, anything like that, just feel free to contact us through social media or email us or whatever's easiest. And we'll certainly, do our best to get, people any information they need.
All right, Jay, sounds good, and I can't wait to talk to you again.
Awesome. Thanks, Todd.
See ya.